Okay, so I thought I'd do a tour of my solution to Chapter 5 because I think it's fun and I think it highlights a couple of things that we saw in Dyer's video that are annoying problems with this particular build. So the main trick of it, generating the numbers is easy. The hard part is making sure that you have only one of each number in your smeltery when you make your computation matrix. So you need one of each, and it's real easy to make an excessive number of numbers, uh, and that makes it inefficient and take longer. So the trick is, how do we put in one of something into the smeltery? And the nice thing about smelteries is you can actually drop items in from the top and they will smelt, and weighted ejector plates can drop things in from the top. So right now, this detector is suppressing the rest of the system because I've just got a piece of moon turf up there, and as long as there's something in the system, it won't input any more to be smelted. So that's what this interlock does. For each of the numbers, I went with separate separate mechanisms for each. So each of these, they have the liquefied material piped into them, and I have individual crafting basins going to the crafters. You do need to use retrievers here, and you absolutely need stack limiters. If you don't use stack limiters, you get this little Soren chest of shame where all of these were generated. Incidentally, spoiler alert, if you generate these and put them in the crafter, you have to, in order to complete this task, you have to have all of them in your inventory at the same time, which I made the computer without realizing that. So each of these is a separate mechanism for this. And these weighted ejectors are smart enough to see the inventory that they go to. And if you look at these with the wrench, you can adjust the amount of each on the ejector. So this will only have one item on it. This will only have one item on it. That backstuffs the crafter. So there's never any buffer. We're generating each number as we need it. For the calculations, for 0, we went with 8 minus 8. This side is all the even numbers. So for 2, I went with 8 minus 6. For 6, I went with 3 plus 3. And so this is, you can see the ones above it are essentially parentheses. For 4, I went with a little bit more complicated. I went with 5 minus 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And that goes down to this one. You can actually just 3 plus 1 would be allow me to save 2 digits for every 4, but that looks nicer. For 6, 3 plus 3 is 6. That's a lot easier. 8 is just 8. 9 is 3 times 3. For 7, I did another complicated one. So this is 6 plus 1 is 7. And 6 is 3 plus 3, and 8 divided by 8 for the 1 there. 5 is just 8 minus 3. 3 is, of course, 3. And 1 is 3 divided by 3. So let's start this running. And they all line up in the smeltery, and you get that nice countdown. you can fly through these and they won't go in your inventory. But it's just a lot of good fun. So this, like I said, this is the synchronization matrix. And these observers return a redstone signal when they see something there. When all of these AND gates, technically that's an AND gate, get a signal, that unlocks this. And it also, once everything is done smelting, now it gets distributed. And the cascade is actually just done with a bunch of state cells going into NOT gates. And for flight, this thing, look into this. Rending Gale, fairly cheap to make. You can buy all the materials with just money. You don't have to actually get all the mob drops. And it runs off just feathers. A lot cheaper and a lot easier, and I think it works better than beacons. But okay, so that's my chapter 5.